Hope you're doing good. Today we're out here in RAYONG, Thailand with teacher Thomas Thailand and also known as Scott. So Scott, thank you so much for making the time to come out today or making the time to meet today. It's been a real pleasure.
You bet.
Yeah.
I'm glad to welcome you to Rayong province. I know you've traveled a lot throughout Thailand and you hadn't been to Rayong yet, so welcome.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, right? It's almost like we've known each other for much longer. Like even though we only met like one day, it seems
really
like we got, yeah.
It really does. You know, I met you guys yesterday. You were able to take the bus from Bangkok right here to Rayong. Dropped you off down here at Mop to Put, which is only about a 10-minute drive, and picked you guys up and got you checked into your hotel that you'd already reserved. And yeah, it just seemed like the conversation was really easy and not awkward at all. And really nice to meet your Thai lady there too.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, thank you for your hospitality. So in this video, we're going to discuss a few topics. We're going to talk about cost of living in Thailand and also a little bit about opening a bar or a business in Thailand. And then we're also going to talk about why he decided to move to Thailand in comparison to some of the other countries out here. And then also talk a little bit about the differences between dating Thai girls compared to American girls. So for the first thing that I wanted to discuss is, if someone's interested in retiring in Thailand, what do you think is the minimum monthly income and monthly and savings that they should have?
Oh, good question. Well, the first requirement in order to get a long stay visa based on retirement is you need to be at least 50 years old.
50?
50.
50, okay.
So you got to be 50 years old in order to apply for a long stay retirement visa. But as far as income, now there's income requirements that the law requires that you have. Monthly would be like 65,000 Thai baht, which I think is around 2,300 US dollars.
Okay.
So if you were basing it strictly on the requirements for a retirement visa to get through immigration on a monthly income alone, you need to have a pension of about 2,300 that you can prove to the Thai government that you have that to sustain yourself. Now, if you don't have that much monthly income, because you certainly don't need that here for cost of living, they have another option where you could deposit a lump sum into a Thai bank account, and that's like 800,000 baht, which is around $25,000, something in that neighborhood. And they also have a combination of the two. But regardless of what the requirements for the actual visa is, whether you can do the lump sum or meet the monthly, as far as what you can live off of, I came here at 51 years old in 2015, and I had my Social Security disability pension, and that was all that I had from working for 35 years. And then I got diagnosed with a real rare autoimmune condition, and it left me in a disabled state where I can't have full-time employment. So that is about 1,300 US dollars a month. That's all I had when I came to Thailand. And I rented a condo. Now that's about 42,000 baht, something like that, a month, right? But I'm on a marriage visa because not long after I came to Thailand, my Thai wife and I got married. So I didn't need to worry about the retirement visa, and I've never actually held a retirement visa. So I can't speak exactly to the application process. I know what the requirements are. But I lived very comfortably for $1,300 a month. We had a condo in northern Bangkok called Nonthaburi. That's a northern suburb of Bangkok. We have the BTS station, everything that connects you to the city. But for 1,300 USD a month, we had a nice condo. It had a swimming pool. It had a gym. It was only a 2-year-old building. Very, very nice. Now, the square footage was kind of small, but it was a 1-bedroom with a kitchen. So we stayed there for about 6 months. And that's all I had until I started gaining a little supplemental income as an English teacher here in Thailand. So I was able to get some additional supplemental income doing that. But now I actually have a second pension that involves my service in the United States Army, because my disabilities are connected to part of my service as active duty. So now I have that pension as well. So I have a very comfortable lifestyle here in Thailand now. But when I first started, I was scared, like most people, relocating to a foreign country and not sure. You do your research and you're like, oh, it's low cost of living. You look online, you see what's for rent, so you can kind of figure, and you want to have a cushion, you have some savings when you get here, but really that $1,300 a month as a single
pretty good, right?
was good. I paid my rent, my utilities, my Wi-Fi. We still had money to go to the movies and dinner, and saved a couple hundred a month just out of that $1,300. So
Yeah, so just approximately, let's say someone's interested in coming out here and let's say they have like $1,000 a month income. What I would say is the way that you have to kind of save money is with mainly the housing. So if you only have a 30,000 baht per month income, so 1,000 US dollars per month, in my personal opinion, you gotta probably just rent a studio apartment, because that's gonna keep your costs down to 6,000, 10,000 baht per month. And then you're probably gonna have to eat mainly Thai food, not really going to the Japanese restaurants, not really going to American food is quite expensive, actually, in Thailand. So that's something to keep in mind. If you like American food, it's actually kind of expensive.
really, the most expensive products of any kind in Thailand are imports.
Right.
If you're buying local Thai groceries and shopping locally for clothes and all made in Thailand, it's very, very affordable.
Right.
But it's just the opposite. If you're wanting to buy a BMW or a Harley Davidson or something like that, you're going to pay more than you would in your home country, right? Because of the import tariffs and stuff. So, but our rent at that condo, very nice condo, was 8,000 baht per month.
That was in Nonthaburi?
Yeah, basically Bangkok.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Nonthaburi suburb, but it's in Bangkok.
Yeah, the first time I came out to Thailand, my rent was at a Lumpini condo, and that was only 6,000.
That's nuts.
That was like crazy cheap. And now
It's like less than $200 a month rent.
Yeah, so I was even thinking, let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say you wanted to come out, let's say your monthly budget was $500 a month and you were just staying for 3 months. I would even think it's gonna be a far stretch, but let's say you had $500 a month, 200 for housing, right? If you just took public transportation and you ate street Thai food every day, you could probably survive on $500 a month.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We had that little condo, 8,000 baht, so that's what, like $240 a month.
Yeah, so you're left with $300.
We cooked at home a lot.
Yeah.
We had just a single burner, cooker and a microwave and stuff, but we cooked a lot at home and ate street food. So absolutely, you can live a very nice life, entertainment, especially if you like the outdoors and going to the park and exercise.
Doing the
and
free
all this
stuff.
free stuff
Yeah.
to get your time. And then, go see an English soundtrack movie at the cinema once a month, or like we do back home. We don't go to the movie every weekend normally, right? So it's really, really very doable to live on a low budget here. But the thing about it, most people want to inquire about long stay visa process if they want to relocate. And that's where you get into the actual requirements that you're going to have some money in the bank. If you're doing a low monthly budget, that's good, but you need to prove to the Thai immigration. But if you're coming here on a tourist visa, say for 90 days, and you planned $1,000 a month for your stay,
you could
very, very
definitely do
doable,
it.
and see a lot of sights and like you say, public transportation, and also, I don't know if you've been to the big bus terminals in Bangkok, like Mochit, Burst.
I have, yeah.
You can go to any little village, any town in Thailand from that terminal.
Oh, the Mochit terminal?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
anywhere.
good to know.
The big double-decker buses, and the most expensive ticket, if you're going clear across country from the south all the way to the north, is usually like 400 baht.
Wow.
So I mean, you could travel by bus, and the buses are actually nice. They're cold, comfortable, air conditioned. They serve you a meal, right? VIP. So in America, we think of the bus station, the Greyhound.
They're really nice though, the Greyhounds.
Here, it's a plush ride. It's a good way to travel, and very, very cheap. So for 25 bucks a person, you could travel all the way the whole country, and stay a few days here and go, so it's
just stay at the hostels too, stuff like that.
Absolutely,
cheap
and
places.
location is a big thing. Now, Bangkok is one of the more expensive areas of Thailand. Bangkok and the island of Phuket, the largest island, are known to be the most expensive for cost of living. For example, after we left Nonthaburi, suburb of Bangkok, and moved to Isan, I took my first teaching job. We had a one-bedroom bungalow-style house, a house, not a studio, with a nice shower and kitchen and living room and bedroom, right? Everything you need for two people 4,000 baht a month.
Oh, wow. That's
4,000. And it was
great
brand new.
Yeah.
It was a brand new bungalow resort.
Where was that at?
It was up in Isan in a province
Isan.
called Nong Bua Lampu.
Isan area.
Right, Isan. Udon Thani is like one of the bigger cities in Korat, in the northeast, yeah. But even here in Rayong, in Bonchar, I can find you places for rent for 4,000 baht a month. Nice apartments. There's one right down the road here. Fully furnished, free Wi-Fi, free television. You just pay your rent and your electric. The rent is 4,200 baht a month.
Wow, that's
So
crazy. That's like $100, $120.
$120.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I mean, really nice, very nice and quiet. You know, back off the main road, big, beautiful. And, you know, Thailand's like a botanical garden year round, right? With all the tropical plants. So everything is so plush and well landscaped and very, very quiet. Once you get off a main road, it gets quiet like really quick because they don't have all the through roads. Then you're back in an area where the only traffic is someone who lives there. That's it. So it's surprising what you can find, but you can't find it online. You know, if you're one of these people who like to do Airbnb and stay here and there, right? That's all great. But if you're looking for a long-term monthly rental, you have to get to know some locals.
Some locals,
They don't advertise online. If they did, it would all be in Thai.
Right.
Craigslist is not a big thing here at all.
Right.
So Facebook is real big. If you're in Facebook groups, you can find rentals and stuff. But mainly, you just kind of get with somebody, an expat that's lived in the area or a local Thai, and have them take. And you'd be surprised. I guarantee you, if you were just coming to Thailand for your first time, you've got your visa. Let's just say you've got a visa, a student visa or whatever. You're like, hey, I want to chill out in Rayong for 3 months. Can you and I could go out and we could probably find you a nice little studio for 2,000 or 3,000 baht a month.
Wow.
So $100 or less.
Where in America can you rent a place for $80 to $100 a month?
and I'm not talking about a slum.
Yeah,
I'm talking about a nice area within 5 minutes walk of a beach.
Yeah.
You know, so tons of vendors and street food everywhere, even in the small towns. It's not just Bangkok, guys, like everywhere. Thailand is like a farmer's market every day of the week, right?
Yeah.
Thai people have so much freedom to buy and sell and trade. No government, no tax, no levy, no health department, none of that. They know how to do it. You know, the guy's been barbecuing chicken for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's not going to poison you. You know what I mean? He's going to have the best chicken you've probably ever eaten.
Right.
And for very low
It's going
money.
to be like $1 or $2.
So why do you need the government to come in and tell him, well, you got to have a license, you got to be regulated with the health department, you know what I mean? We've lost a lot of those freedoms in America.
Right.
You know, when I was a kid, you used to barter and trade eggs and get milk, and like people still did a lot of things, roadside stands, right? Where we can't do much of that anymore because we have the licensing, government regulations, all that. Thailand, they just have so much freedom. People make their living off of motorcycles and little side carts with barbecuers and fresh fruits for sale. And it's everywhere in Thailand, like every small town.
Yeah.
You literally never have to go to an actual grocery store in Thailand if you don't want to. Like fresh meats, fresh seafoods, fresh vegetables. Daily.
It's cheap. It's
buying
cheap
directly from the fishermen when they come in early morning. You can go down there, they sell directly right off the fresh catch. You know, no middleman at all. And so that kind of stuff is one of the things that I just love about living here. And when you're not in Thailand, it's one of the things you miss the most.
Right.
Just the convenience of
kind of the freedom, right?
Everybody's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know? And they're good at it. I don't care if they're making slushies or selling hot coffees and espressos in one of those little vendors. Like, they're good at it. It's quality stuff, you know?
Right.
Don't be afraid of street food in Thailand, I'm telling you. They know what they're doing.
Right.
It's
really good, too. Yeah, so what is the process for someone trying to become a teacher out in Thailand?
Well, you know, Thailand has a huge void for native English-speaking teachers.
Okay.
So the acronym is NES, Native English Speaker. Okay? There's a lot of teachers here from the Philippines, and I've worked with them, and they're great people and great teachers.
But they're not native.
But they're not native English. They went all the way through university and got their degree in their native tongue. The only English class they had was English class.
Oh.
All the other subjects, history, geometry, everything was in their native language. So they may have a master's degree in English.
It's
but
not
you
the
give me a
same.
high school graduate from the United States of America who's been speaking English since 3 years old.
Yeah.
His fluency is much, much better.
Right.
And his pronunciation, right? So there's a lot of discretion for native English speakers. So you don't need a degree in education, for sure, okay? I'm a teacher as an English second language teacher. I'm not qualified to teach chemistry here or math. My background was not in education. Now I have a degree, but it's in business management. It has nothing to do.
Same as me.
Right?
Business management.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't even need a degree. What you need is a high school diploma if you're a native English speaker, and you need to get certified through a TEFL program. TEFL, T-E-F-L, is Teach English Foreign Language.
Oh, so that's mandatory to teach English in Thailand?
It's mandatory.
Okay. How much is that?
They're affordable, depending on what program you go to. Chiang Mai University's got a big program up there. Bangkok's got a lot of them. You can find them online, actually. It doesn't really matter where you get the certificate that says you're certified to teach English as a foreign language. What matters is that you have it.
You have it, okay.
Now, if you obtain that outside of Thailand, because there's a lot of TEFL courses in America and everywhere else that you can train to be an English second teacher before you leave your home country. Any document that involves education outside of Thailand, when you get to Thailand, you need to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok. So all they handle is foreign affairs, right?
Okay.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You go there and you get your educational documents certified. So whether it's a high school diploma, a TEFL certificate, a bachelor's degree, an associate's degree, whatever you got, if it came from abroad, go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They'll verify that it's you, that it's your document. They have a way. It's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so they're connected with all the embassies and everything, right? So they certify, they stamp it. Now, everything in your CV and your resume, as far as your educational qualifications to teach, is verified. So when you apply for a job and you want to go get a work permit and a B visa, business visa, which the schools help you do all of that. You provide very little. They do most of all the legwork and the paperwork to employ you, to get you on board, right? But you've already got your documents ready to go. Now, if you don't have a degree, certify your diploma, your high school diploma. Get it certified that you're a high school graduate. Your grades matter. You got good scores in English. That matters. They like Common Core. So your generation and people that are familiar with the Common Core education system in America and Canada, they like that here. They like Common Core standards. Very popular. The American language curriculum is very popular here. More so than the Cambridge English curriculum. That used to be the go-to here in Thailand, but now it's more and more the American curriculum. So I would just recommend that people don't listen to people that say you got to have a degree, you got to do this, and you got to do that, or you can't become a teacher, because I know from my experience, people that have came here with a high school diploma, took a TEFL course, and I think they paid around $400 US dollars for their TEFL.
For the TEFL.
Yeah. I got mine because I actually have subordinates that work for me that are TEFL trainers. Like they're actually instructors of the TEFL course, and they're subordinates of mine. And so we was able to do mine on a rapid process, and it didn't cost me anything.
That's nice.
So,
what's kind of a range salary that someone can expect to make out in Thailand?
Okay, well, here's the big difference. We're talking about the Filipinos, and there's people from all other non-native English-speaking countries that are teaching English here, okay? So their salary is always going to be lower. So the acronym would be NNES, non-native English speaker, okay? So the Filipino teachers and stuff, they usually make around 15,000 baht a month.
500 US dollars.
Maybe 20,000 max. 20,000 baht. So that's about 600. $500 to $600 a month, which doesn't sound like much, but if they have another pension or private or equities or whatever, if it's a supplemental, and we already talked about the cost of living, $500 or $600 a month is a decent little salary.
And that might be a lot more than they could make in their home country.
Yes,
Right.
That's why a lot of the Filipinos are here, because they can't make that salary in their home country. Certainly can't make it as an English
It actually
teacher.
might be double or triple what they could make in their home country. Yeah.
Absolutely, and there's many of them here. But if you're a native English speaker, NES, then the salaries go up. Now, if you've got a degree in education, if you're a teacher back in your home country, the sky's the limit here. We have international private schools. Okay?
That's where the big money is at.
That's big money.
Yeah.
All those teachers are teachers. Their background, their degrees are in education, whether it's K through 12 or just elementary education, whatever it is, right? So because those international private schools are very high tuitions. You're talking about the affluent Thai parents, and all of the subjects are in English. So history, math, it's not just an English language school.
It's English school.
It's an English school. It's a private, junior high, high school, and they even have the elementary in private international schools. And
Right.
so those are the top salaries, and they can make 70 to 80,000 baht per month
Which is $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
if you're an actual teacher.
Yeah.
right?
And then on the lower end, maybe 30,000 baht.
I made about 35,000 baht in my last job, which I'm not currently teaching, and I was working for the Royal Thai Army Academy, which is like America's West Point.
Oh.
But I only taught 12 hours a week. And
Oh.
even the regular government high school jobs, usually about 20 hours a week.
The 12 hours, is that like every day?
No, I would teach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 hours a day,
Oh, so you were only working 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
So actually, you were making really good money for only working such a short amount of hours.
35,000 baht's pretty good. And then, of course, insurance, health insurance through the Royal Thai Army. So I had the same insurance as the Royal Thai Army commissioned officers, have a military ID name tag, right? So that gets me into a lot of exclusive Thai-only accessible places,
Oh, wow.
right? Because you either have to work for the government or have a family member that works for the government. If you're a foreigner, it doesn't matter if you're from China or Japan or
Yeah.
Australia. If you're a foreigner, there's certain areas that are exclusively for Thai, certain beaches and certain things. But the military ID is really one of the best fringe benefits of having that job. And of course, being a veteran of the Army myself, I was really excited about getting a job. I was teaching high school up in Isan and got a call, a friend of a friend in Bangkok who's a retired Marine, Vietnam vet, said, hey, I've heard about a job at the academy. Would you like to go down? And so went down, did a mock class, did an interview, offered me the 35,000 baht a month, 12 hours a week.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's probably at the highest pinnacle for a guy that doesn't have a degree in education, but I had experience. I'd been certified through TOEFL. I'd had 2 years at the high school, and my thing at the high school was conversational English class. In Thai language, you would say suntana, which just means conversation.
Conversational.
So we didn't have any textbooks in my class. So that was kind of my formal training into the public school system in Thailand.
Oh.
Not necessarily. I mean, I would assist with textbooks and I would correct grammars, but the need, like most of the Thai students, they can write beautiful English, probably better handwriting than you.
Probably better grammar than us too.
Yeah. So reading and writing skills are really good.
Yeah.
But then you say, can you read that out loud for me?
They're scared. Right?
Made I cannot.
And one thing I noticed too is people who haven't learned from a native English speaker, they won't understand what was it called, like idioms, like
Yeah.
that guy has a chip on his shoulder, right?
Yes.
They'll say, oh, he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder, right?
Right.
Like they won't understand what that means.
Backstabber?
Yeah,
Yeah,
backstab.
they think
like,
somebody really getting stabbed in the back.
right. Like
Idioms are very important to incorporate into a speaking class after you've kind of went through, personality, introduction, because you want to teach native Thai people how to communicate with foreigner. That's
Right.
the whole point. So what's a foreigner going to ask a Thai?
What's
They're
your
gonna-
name?
What's your name?
How
Where
old
are
are
you
you?
from? What's your hobbies? Can you tell me about your culture? Can you tell me about your history? They want to know about Thailand because most of us don't.
right.
It's a very exotic, faraway country,
That's
right?
why I think our channels are getting popular because people like to see what's going on in other countries.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially during the time of crisis that
Yeah.
we've been through with this global situation, and Thailand's done a fantastic job. But I would just encourage, and I know this is getting a little long, so you may end up having to cut it in two vlogs, but
Yeah.
anybody that's desirous of being an English teacher and doesn't have any experience in education, if you've worked with children, if you've been a coach, a mentor, a volunteer at the school district, if you've been on a school board. I had 4 daughters, and I was a youth sports coach for 14 years. I worked with my third daughter that had a speech impediment, so I volunteered at the school to help with the speech impediment class. So I put all of that on my resume. I wasn't formal teacher as a profession, but you are teaching, right? When you're working with children, even being a father, from day one, you're a teacher, right?
Right.
You have to teach your children. And then if you're doing it in a group setting, you're teaching sports, you're teaching discipline, you're teaching structure, you're teaching teamwork, right? So anything you have in your background with working with students, and then there's other jobs that involve education with adults here in Thailand. There's a lot of big corporations that want their staff to have English conversational skills.
Right.
So there's a lot of opportunities here. And I would just encourage everyone to, contact schools directly. There's a great website called teachingthailand.com, and I don't get anything from them, but it's schools that advertise direct on that website. You can search any province in the kingdom. If you know a particular province that you know someone and that's the area that you're going to, contact those schools directly. Ask them what the qualifications are. Tell them you're a native English speaker, or if you're a non-native, say I'm a non-native, what do I need? And they will assist you. And there's a huge void, always has been. Thailand is one of the lowest English fluencies in all of Southeast Asia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
About 20%.
Oh.
So it's one of the lower. But see, Thailand's never been colonized. It's the only Southeast Asian country that was never colonized by the British, the French, or the Portuguese, right? So you got to think there was never another ruler with another language.
Besides Thailand, right? Yeah.
So there's a reason, right? And so now after this global situation, when international travel is allowed again, there's going to be even a larger void in need for native English speakers especially.
Oh.
So I would just encourage everybody to, if you have a desire to do it, it's a great supplemental income. I think it's safe to say that even if you don't have a degree at all, but you have a diploma and a certification through a TEFL program, $1,000 a month,
That's pretty good.
I think could be expected.
Right.
And so if you have something already, like me, I had a Social Security pension, and see, the thing about it, if you have a marriage visa or a B visa, then you're not prohibited from employment. So you can get a work permit legally through the Ministry of Labor. Now, if you're on a retirement visa, and it actually says retirement on your visa, then you're prohibited from employment.
Oh, you can't work at all?
You can't work
even
at all.
part-time?
No,
Oh,
not legally.
Oh.
Because you have to go through the Ministry of Labor,
Yeah.
a separate entity from immigration.
That's good to
get a
know
work
then. So
permit.
if you get a retirement visa, you can't even work part-time?
No,
So
no.
that's
Now
good-
you can do
good to know.
volunteer work and non-salary stuff, but yeah, to make that supplemental income. So what you can do if you're here on a tourist visa, if you actually have a tourist visa, you can change the status from tourist to
Business
visa
Okay.
in country. You don't have to leave. So if you come on a tourist visa and you got 90 days and you've already contacted some schools, and then you talk to the foreign language director is going to be fluent in English at every school. So that's a person you're going to deal with. There's going to be a director of the foreign language department. So you deal with them after you've sent emails and contact. Go meet with them. They're going to take care of all your B visa application, your Ministry of Labor work permit application, right? And you can change from a tourist visa to a B visa without leaving the country.
Oh, wow.
But now if you come here with just your passport and you get what we call the visa exempt stamp, means you get a free 30 days. Americans don't need a visa before they arrive.
For 30 days.
But you can't then go to work.
Right.
You have to have some kind of a long stay visa to get
The job.
work permit. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
to get a work permit.
And then what about, let's say people that are watching aren't interested in teaching English, but kind of doing what you did where you started a business out here? Like what's kind of the process in that?
You know, I'm new to it, but I can tell you that what I'm doing is incorporating a business. So it's like an LLC would be in America. My wife, who is Thai, we've been married for 5 years. She's 51% owner in the business. So it's a Thai majority owned business. So there's a different set of laws. And I'm 49% owner, so minority foreign ownership. And I will have a work permit here as a general manager and a trainer. So completely legit, above board, but it's a potential to have a decent income with a customer service-based business that we're trying to do, but we're not dependent on an income. What we really want to do is hire some Thai staff, be more involved in the community, have a fun place. I play music, I love musicians, I love to meet new people, so this is perfect environment for all of that. And if somebody is interested in doing a business and they don't have a Thai spouse or a family member, or someone they can trust enough to have 51% ownership in their investment, right? Because I am the investor, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I trust my wife 110%, so there's no issue at all for me, but not everybody has that, right? So now, if you're American, they have an amnesty program between Thai and America. So Americans have a special privilege when it comes to 100% business ownership. So you can set up a business just like this, a bar and grill, in your own name without any Thai ownership at all. But it's a completely different set of laws. You're going to need a consulting agency, maybe not an attorney, but a consulting agency that will set it up for you. You have to open an account, and I think 1 million baht is the minimum requirement for an amnesty American-owned company.
Business.
So it's like $30,000. right, to open a business account, but there is a way to do things. Now, there's other expats that are non-American that are bar managers. Now, I've never really interviewed them about the ownership, whether a lot of them probably have a Thai girlfriend or a Thai wife.
Makes it a little easier when you have a
just
Thai,
makes it so much
Thai
easier.
wife.
Thai
Right?
ownership, 7,500 baht to register your licensing for your food, beverage, alcohol, and tobacco. I mean, so that's like less than $300, and she's got license to do everything, and she's registered, right?
So with your marriage visa, you do have a marriage visa?
Yes.
Okay.
Always have been on a marriage visa.
Is that like a 5-year thing or 10 years or how long?
It's just every year you renew it.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of say we're all guests here, even though I'm a non-immigrant O visa holder. O just means you have family connection, Thai citizen family. We call it the marriage visa, but it could actually be if I was adopted by a Thai family and I wanted to apply for an O visa, now I can use them.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you have a family connection that is a Thai citizen, and that's your O visa. Most of them are marriage visas, right? Most guys that are married to a Thai, rather than do the more cumbersome and more restrictive retirement visa, because you're prohibited from working, by the way, they'll just do the O visa, marriage, family visa, and then that allows them to work and do whatever, and less financial requirements, right? They make it easier if you have a family connection to a Thai because, I mean, it makes sense, right? You're supporting a Thai citizen in some way, either a partnership through marriage or, you know, maybe you've adopted a Thai child.
Right.
That also works.
Right.
Any family connection to a Thai citizen will get you the non-O immigrant visa, but they have to be renewed every year.
Every year.
And it's not cumbersome. I do it by myself every year. I've never used an agency.
Is there a 90-day check-in?
There's a 90-day check-in. They have the online check-ins now, especially with the pandemic, right? But yeah, it's easy. It's a one form. There's no passport photos. You just, you know, put your current address, and you're just basically acknowledging that you're still at the same location.
Oh, okay.
But so your visa's good for 1 year, and then you start your renewal for the next year about a month before it expires. And it's really simple, and I have a step-by-step process of how to extend your visa every year. And I throw in the information about the retirement visa because it's the exact same form, the same process, only with a retirement visa, you're not proving that you're married or proving that you have a family connection.
Okay.
You're only proving that
Yourself.
you're here as a retired and I meet these requirements.
Right. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And also, what's do you think is the difference between dating in Thailand compared to dating in America?
You know,
with the Thai girls.
Yeah, that's a Pandora's box there. Right? You know, I think that there happens to be a lot of Western men. There are Western women as well, but the majority Western men successfully married to Thai ladies. And I think, Julian, the main reason is, to me, Thailand reminds me of 1950s America.
Oh.
I wasn't even born. But all of the television shows, Ozzie and Harriet, you know, all of the old wholesome American 1950s, like we were talking about earlier with freedom to go run and play and sell and do and whatever, right? The culture is like that.
Okay.
Now, I'm not trying to be chauvinist or anything here, so don't take me wrong, okay? But Thai women are a lot like 1950s American moms.
Oh, yeah.
They're all about the family. They're all about eager to please their husband. You know, here in Thailand, low cost of living, one source of income is good enough so that the man goes out and earns the bacon, right?
Girl takes care of more of the
And I just
the
think
house.
that the Western men, when they get here and they realize, I think it's a true statement to say that Thai women are eager to please their man. Now, I hope that doesn't sound chauvinist, and I hope that nobody thinks that I'm trying to say that American women aren't like that, because I know there are women that are very
Still traditional.
Yeah, it's very traditional,
Right.
but there is that in the culture. It's a slow pace of life here, even in Bangkok. Thai people live for today.
Right.
They don't worry about tomorrow. They really live that lifestyle. And so when you think about matchmaking, you got a guy that's got that fast pace, aggressive, impatient. You know how we are in the West. We got to have a schedule. We got to know who, where, what, why. We got the agenda. We got the whole itinerary, right? This is how we live our lives. That doesn't work here.
Right.
At all. I mean, you just can't live that way here. You'll drive yourself crazy. But that guy that has carried all of that stress and all that thing. He gets over here to Thailand, and suddenly he's got this Thai lady that is just all about him. Like he's her whole world, and she's all about keeping him calm.
Right.
Thai people say Jai Yin Yin.
Right.
Jai means heart. So every feeling, whether it's sad or happy or anything, you always use the word heart first.
Oh.
So Jai Yin Yin means calm. So Jai Yin Yin, calm your heart. And that's, I think,
Sabai.
yeah,
Sabai,
sabai, sabai.
sabai.
It's like relax, chill out, right?
Yeah.
Sabai, sabai. Don't worry. Mike and Lai. And that's a real thing here. It's not a bumper sticker. It's how they live.
Right.
So nothing against American women or Western women, but I just think that we've lost a lot of that in our culture.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we're all on the equal playing field. The woman has a career, she's got responsibility, she's got obligations, she's got all the stress that a man does. Right?
Yeah.
So when a man gets here and he makes a connection with a Thai lady and he realizes that, you know, she doesn't have anticipations of what he needs to do to please her. Generally, Thai men don't buy flowers for their Thai ladies, not even on Valentine's Day. Can you believe that? But it's just not in their culture that Thai men, and they're not chauvinist or disrespectful to their women, and the women aren't beneath them. It's just public displays of affection.
Don't really
and these
have them
kind of
out
things.
here.
It's just not, doesn't.
Even
not part of the culture.
even holding hands, you hardly really see that.
Hardly
now.
see it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to think, when a Thai lady gets a gentleman from the West who's always eager to please his woman, have to buy her flowers, have to bring her a piece of jewelry, even if it's not her birthday. Surprise. We are geared to cater to our women. That's kind of the way we are. A good gentleman.
American men.
American
right?
especially.
Yeah, okay.
I can definitely speak for America, but I think a lot of Westerners are that way. It's just, you know, we're eager to please our women, and here you got women that are eager to please their men. So it does seem like it works most of the time.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel like, at least in my personal life, I feel like a lot of men prefer something that's kind of like the opposite to themselves. So if they're like a real hardcore, like 12-hour-a-day working guy who's like kind of, you know, a little bit arrogant and like strong-headed, stuff like that, most of the time that guy's gonna want a girl that's very like traditional. She's very shy, maybe you know, likes to cook, likes to clean, and maybe not be so work-oriented. You know, so I think that's the problem. It's not really a problem, but I think that's the situation why so many people are unhappy in America, is because it's too much like this. It's too clashing. And I understand how, you know, people want to, in America, they say a lot, they want an equal partner. But I think that what's it called? That idea, that theory of having an equal partner, I actually think it's hurting people more in the long term than it helps.
I completely agree with that sentiment. I just think that, you know, men are men and women are women, and we do have different roles. It doesn't mean that a woman isn't just as equal, and Lord knows they're sometimes much more intelligent than us guys.
Right.
And they're long-term thinkers, and sometimes we're in the moment. But I agree with you that, you know, generally in the West we're more aggressive, and especially men. But women too, because women are out there in that workforce, and you got to hustle, and you got to be better than the guy behind you, you know. And so we're used to that. And when you arrive here, and I know women, Western women that have Thai men, that have very good relationships too. So I think it goes both ways. I just think, like you said, there's a counter.
Right.
If you're both career-minded and you're both strong and you're using a babysitter for the children to raise your children, you got daycare and you got all the busy life, and you're doing it because you have to keep up with the Joneses, and you got all this debt, and you know how we are in the West. And so that really erodes the relationship, does it not? Because you're both kind of doing the same role.
Right.
You both have to play that. And here, not that Thai women don't work and that there aren't career Thai women. Absolutely, there are. There are world-class traveling business women in Thailand, no doubt about it.
I know a few of them. They're really big earners.
Overall, there's just that. It's like a lot like the Hispanic community. That ultimate commitment is family.
Yeah.
So when you commit in a relationship with a Thai lady, you know, you become her priority, even above her career. You know, and especially in marriage. I mean, monogamy is a real thing here.
Right.
It's a loyalty and commitment that's unquestionable. And I've always said happy together and happy apart. That's the best relationship wherever you are in the world. Because if you're stuck together, like you say, you're on that same track. you have the same responsibilities, you're going to clash.
It's too hard.
But if you can take the time away from each other and you're just as happy, you know, oh, I'm going to Chicago for the weekend. See you spontaneous. Okay, have a nice trip, baby.
Yeah, see you when you get back. Yeah.
Who are you going to see? What are you going to do? All that.
Right.
You know, it doesn't work. You have to be happy apart. You have to really enjoy that time away from each other. And I think I can speak in my 5 years of marriage here that Yin and I, we're attached at the hip. We do everything together. We love the outdoors. We love the simple things. We love going to temples. We love taking the dogs for a walk. You know, simple stuff. But we have our unique things that we like to do. And she likes to go with her Thai lady friends. I like to go with my Western friends and have guys' nights out. There's no questions. I'm not questioning her. She's not questioning me. So it's very, very different. Very, very different, I think, on both ends. You know, and I think that's why there's, now, often you hear the horror stories about single guys that came over here and made a relationship in a bar with a bar girl, and how they stole all their money. And
bought them a house, car, a boat.
A buffalo was sick on the farm and needed to send money after they got back home. You know, all that. We've all heard that. Well, that's, you know, you're in the business world. When you go to the entertainment zones, that's a fantasy land. That's not Thailand. Okay, that's a fantasy land.
But they got that in every country. They have that little section in every country.
I always say, guys back home, I'm like, look, guys, I mean, hold up your hand if you've ever used an escort service or got a hookup at the bar. Have you? And everybody said, yeah, I've done that. Did you try to make a relationship afterwards? No.
Yeah. Well, even Nevada, they got the bunny ranch.
Exactly. Sure. Absolutely. But you don't try to get married, right? You don't give them all your money, right?
Yeah.
You're out for entertainment, and you go, and you're adults, and what adults do in their private time is nobody's business, right?
That's between them.
That's the way it works in Thailand. But why would you want to go there to try to make a relationship? 90% or higher of the Thai single women, adult age, have never, would never, will never work in a red light or a bar. They're not going to do it. This is a conservative country. If you drive a vehicle without a shirt on as a man, you can be ticketed.
Oh, can you really?
Yes. That's a law on the books.
That's good to know.
Go to a Thai beach. Have you been to Thai beaches? Have you ever seen Thai women in bikinis? Not very often,
not
right?
Really, right?
They wear like the whole swimming suits, or they keep their shorts and t-shirts
or
on.
Just running pants.
It's
almost.
The opposite of Brazil, right?
Brazil's the quiet, it's like the opposite, right?
So, I mean, Thailand's a conservative, very conservative culturally. The Buddhist is 95% Buddhism, right? And the old teachings, the Theravada Buddhism, not the Zen, you know, not the more modern age Buddhism, but the original teachings of the Buddha that's ingrained in their culture and their daily life from a young age. The older brother has a different name than the younger brother because you have to show respect to your older siblings in the Thai language.
Not James Smith the third, James Smith the fourth, James Smith the fifth.
So, like your older brother would be P.
Right.
And then younger would be like Luong, right?
Or Nong or something.
Or Nong, something like that, right? So it's you know, a big culture of levels of respect, and monks are at the highest level, right? When you gone Y to a monk, you go bow all the way, right? Or, you know, a high government official. So. Oh, thank you. Snacks, thank you. But anyway, I just think that you know, you can't change Thailand, but Thailand can change you. And Thailand has changed me. It's made me a better person. It's taught me patience. I didn't have very good patience.
When you first came here?
In the West, we don't have patience. We get impatient, right? I mean, it's natural. Even if you're not an aggressive person, you get impatient, you get frustrated, you don't understand, why am I waiting in line? Why is their customer service terrible? Whatever situation, we run these thoughts, right?
It's just such a fast-paced culture.
Yeah, you have to let go of all that here. Yeah. Like, you really enjoy the country after you learn, like, it's not that you needed to change Thailand, it's you needed to change yourself. You have to let go of that, you know, because you don't really begin to enjoy your time here. And I think Thailand and Southeast Asia is all included in this until you really let go of your old cultural ways, because it's not going to get you anywhere here. If you're impatient, if you're a loudspeaker, if you're rude, if you're flamboyant with your hands, if you point with your fingers, you're going to stand out here like a sore thumb. If you have
not in a good way.
Not in a good way. If you have road rage, not good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons to have road rage in Thailand, It's crazy, but nobody has road rage.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens, obviously, but it's very, very, very minute, right? So you have to understand that it's within us to let go of those things that we have tendencies to do just because it's our culture.
It's normal.
It's not a bad thing.
Certain things may seem normal in America, but that's not the case out here.
Yeah, it's
like
really
for verbal arguments in America, that's like a daily thing that people do all the time.
Do you ever see it here?
Hardly ever, unless something really bad's gonna happen.
Bad.
Whenever there's a real verbal argument, you usually see something bad happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually between Westerners.
Or between a wife and her husband or something like that.
Yeah, you do have that.
Like, yeah.
But generally, Thai people are non-confrontational.
For the most part, yeah.
But in a relationship, you're right, absolutely.
I see that
Family
sometimes,
fights,
yeah.
domestic disturbance, that stuff we all know goes on. But like as far as interactions in the public, you go to a market, whether you're in Bangkok, a big, huge, famous market, you're not likely to see any confrontation between people.
Yeah.
It's just because they're non-confrontational. That whole don't lose face just means don't show your rear end in public, right? Don't do anything embarrassing in public. But what people do in their private lives,
that's
very, very different, right?
Right. Yeah, that's something important too for our viewers today too. Is even if you get in an argument with someone out here, try not to offend them or say something bad to them, because face is very important out here. You know, and some people take that very seriously. And that person who might look like a nerd and wearing, sitting in the corner, you never know who that person is.
That's right.
Yeah, so just be careful who you get in arguments with, and try to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, especially when dealing with the native people. I think it's smart. There's a difference between a tourist and a traveler, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that a tourist, we just kind of call them newbies, right? They run around, they've never been there before, they don't know anything about the country, they're just on vacation. There's nothing wrong with it, right? They don't need to know anything. They're out to have fun. It's a personal vacation that they've saved up for. That's a tourist. A traveler is somebody that's kind of done some research, they've been a few places in the world, so they realize that every country you visit, no matter where you are in the world, have respect for the natives. If you go to India, have respect for Indian people. If you go to Rome, do as the Romans do.
Right.
If you go to Thailand, do as the Thais do.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it goes a long ways. In Thais, it's all about respect.
Yeah.
If you show respect to the native people here, it comes back to you tenfold. And that's how I advanced as an English teacher. That's how I ended up getting one of probably the most cush jobs you could get working for the Royal Thai Military Academy, is because from day one, I came at it with respect.
Right.
And I'm the youngest of 9 kids, so I learned from all my older brothers and sisters' mistakes, and so I like to think I have a little bit of wisdom.
Oh, you're the youngest of 9 kids.
The youngest of 9.
Wow, that's a lot.
So,
I'm an only child, so I don't know how.
I don't know what that'd be like.
I don't know how it is growing up with 9. I feel like it'd be fun though, right?
So you were always the center of attention. Huh?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, I think we shared a lot of good information. I also want to ask you too, did you look into any other countries besides Thailand? Like, did you look into the Philippines?
Actually, I did. I've got some really good friends that are retired Navy and spent a lot of time in the Philippines. And Philippines has really good English fluency, so you don't have the language barrier like you do here in Thailand. You've got parts of Thailand that you're going to have trouble if you don't learn some Thai. I mean, you're going to have a difficult time. So, but in Philippines, they're very high fluency in English. Of course, they were colonized by the Portuguese, and then the British, and then the Americans have had bases there
for a long time.
Long time now, right? But doing my research and talking to them, and my Navy friends, they actually have Pinay wives, Filipina wives, back in the States, and but they have typhoons, hurricanes.
Cost of living's lower though, right? Than Thailand.
Yeah, but there's a lot more poverty.
Oh.
A lot more poverty. Thailand, as you've seen, has poverty, but not really dangerous, unsafe poverty centers. Like Philippines can be pretty dangerous.
Pretty bad.
And so doing my research, another one's I don't like hurricanes. I don't like all the dangerous weather threats. You actually have earthquakes too, quite a bit, because they're down there by the Ring of Fire, right? So a buddy of mine said, hey, if you're thinking about Southeast Asia, because I've been to South America, I've been to Colombia, my Spanish is really good, and because of my medical condition, I needed a tropical climate. I cannot do cold weather anymore. It's horrible.
It's too bad, right?
I'd, like commit suicide, right? If I really had to stay in it, I probably would. It's horrible. Just can't stay cooped up in an apartment for 6 months out of the year. Being from Kansas City, it snows in Kansas City, okay? Like tons of snow and very cold for 6 months, right? So it limits you what you can do. And when you're in a tropical country, you can stay more active, and I basically self-rehabilitated. But I was looking for a tropical country, went down to South America. I like it, but it's not safe. Call us gringos down there. Any white-skinned foreigner, whether you're from Russia or doesn't matter, you're a gringo in South America. And gringos are a target, and you've got, you know, armed gangs and narcos and a lot of things that the government doesn't have control over.
Target
you
for
certainly
like
wouldn't.
kidnappings and stuff like that.
You certainly, yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
You certainly would never jump on a motorcycle and travel cross country
Okay.
anywhere in South or Central America.
Okay.
You wouldn't do it.
Good to know. I've never been there.
Anybody that's lived there a long time will tell you don't do that. Now you go to the resorts and the beaches, and you're safe. Even in the cities, you're usually safe because there's police. You know, 4 police to every square block, and they're all carrying machine guns.
Yeah.
You know, they don't play around.
Yeah.
The police here don't have to carry machine guns. They carry sidearms.
Pretty calm, right?
Yeah, very calm, very low climate. But Thailand doesn't have typhoons, hurricanes as we know them. This side of the planet, they call them typhoons. They don't have earthquakes, have very few up in the northern region, but really small. So no threats of severe weather. Weather's very stable. And then just coming here, I didn't know for sure, right? Came here on a visa exempt stamp, just arrived with a passport, get free 30 days. I was able to get another 60 days free, extended. While
And you just never left?
I had to leave to get my marriage visa. After I got married, I went to Laos and to a Thai embassy and got the visa, and then came back.
Oh, okay.
And now we go home every summer to the States, but this year, obviously, we couldn't travel home.
So home is Kansas City?
Kansas City and
Kansas City.
Northeast Oklahoma is where all of my daughters graduated from high school.
Oklahoma.
Grand Lake. So it's a tri-state area between Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. Joplin, Missouri. Pittsburgh, Kansas. Branson. The Ozarks. It's all the Ozark Hills. So that's where all my daughters are. But yeah, I'm originally from Kansas City. But all of my daughters, we got out of the big city and got them in a smaller school district. Right. Yeah. They all graduated from the same high school there in Northeast Oklahoma. So they're all scattered in about a 200-mile radius there. And I still got a sister in Kansas City and a lot of family in Kansas City, family in Texas. So yeah, usually my wife and I had planned a big. My wife has not been with me yet to the States. This was going to be her first year. With the USA visa, spousal visa, which is good for 6 months, right? But we didn't even get that started because the embassy.
Everything's on hold right now.
Everything got all shut out.
Yeah.
Right? So we basically took the 10 grand that we were going to spend on a nice American vacation and rent a little motor home and go see some cool stuff, and of course spend time with all my grandchildren and all that. And we took that 10 grand because we weren't able to travel, and we decided to do this business deal. And we've been planning this for a few years. I'd like for my wife to have something in case I don't stick around forever.
Right.
We never know when our time's up. And I've had some serious diagnosis and really terrible prognosis that I was going to be in a wheelchair and all kinds of crazy stuff, all the way to Mayo Clinic. And so you never know. And I'd like her to have some, we're just renting the property, but she's the owner of the business.
Right.
And if the business turns out to be successful, she can employ more Thai staff and play a small role. She doesn't have to work hard and have that decent income.
Yeah,
and we love being involved in the community. So, and this is a small sub-district. Ban Chang is the city, Rayong province, but we're in a sub-district called Pala. So this is the Pala Beach. We're 1 block off the beach here. And it's a really lovely community. Like I say, and they have all kinds of, community marathons and bike clubs and, motorcycle groups. And,
a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah, you can go down the beach and play games. Batong, do you know how to play batong?
Never played it.
It's like a solid steel ball, and you throw it at a marker, kind of like horseshoes. Whoever's closest gets. That's a big game here. It's originally from France, but it's big in Thailand. And a lot of the foreigners, expats from France, from Germany, from Norway, from Sweden. I have so many European and English and Aussie friends here in Thailand that I never had in the United States. United States, we know what? We know Americans. We might see international travelers, but we don't have close friendships. Here in Thailand, we have a large expat community from all over the world. And so you go down there and you meet new people all the time. And of course, English is the bridge of communication that connects us all.
Yeah.
Right? Because when they're France, they're not native. German's not native. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, all they're not native, but they all speak multiple languages over there.
Right.
And they're all good at English. So you can communicate and play games and join clubs, and everybody's like, hey, I got a little massage. My wife owns a massage shop. You want a good Thai massage? Hey, I got a bar and grill over here. So it doesn't take long in a small community like this to really get, you're like, wow, I want to be a part of this, right? So,
and what's the name of your new, let's talk about your place?
yeah, it's called the Open Mic, which I'm sure all of you in America are very familiar with open mic nights at many famous clubs in America. Open mic is not really known here in Thailand. They are very, very big on karaoke. There's all kinds of karaoke clubs. Thai people love to sing karaoke. But open mic means any random musician, hobby player or whatever, professional, can stop by and you're going to make sure that they can play a set, right? The mic is open. So multiple different musicians rather than having a paid band.
Right.
So I have a lead guitarist on staff who's been playing guitar for 40 years, knows all of the famous Western music, right? Everything from Willie Nelson to CCR to Led Zeppelin, right?
Everything.
He knows them all. And I play rhythm. And we've got several friends and musicians in the area, Thai people, harmonica, acoustic guitar, just beautiful stuff. So that's kind of what the business is all about. It's all about the music, and we do have karaoke in the mix. So we have the audience, the customers participate, and they put their name on whatever song list they want to sing, and Mr. P. Watt, the sound manager, will make sure to get them invited up to the stage for their 10 minutes of fame, and they can sing their favorites, right?
Yeah, it sounds
so
fun.
we're bringing Thai and foreigners from all over the world together in a relaxing climate, bar and grill, small menu, simple food, but nice cocktails, ice cold beer, and a very good environment. So that's what it's about.
Full name is Open Mic at Pala.
Open Mic at Pala, yes.
Okay,
It's actually on Google Map now.
I'll put that in the link in the description. Yeah, so definitely check out Teacher Thomas Thailand's channel. He has a lot of good educational videos on there about Thailand. And then if you do come out to Rayong, Pala Beach area, definitely come check out his restaurant out here. And is it going to be 7 days a week?
It's going to be 6 days a week, closed on Mondays.
Oh, so Mondays, Tuesday through Sunday?
Tuesday through Sunday, we'll be open till 10 or 11 p.m. through the week and 2 a.m. on the weekends. So, we'll be open all the time. We're going to have American breakfast. So we'll have, breakfast and coffee early in the mornings, and then in the p.m., starting about 5 p.m., we'll start up the live music and stuff like that. And we won't have a big dinner menu, but we will have a lot of food options, appetizers and dinner specials and stuff like that. But mainly, it's all about the customer service. It's a Thai bar. We're in Thailand. Thai flag is all lit up in LED lighting out here.
Cool.
So that's the Thai flag, very huge. So you can't miss us. We're lit up, but we're an American retro bar. So mostly music is going to be Western music, not just American music, but all of our favorite English and Aussies and Scottish bands and everybody else, right? Old rock and roll to modern day, genres. So it's all about the music, and I think that's a good thing to unite people, and we need unity more than ever, right? With all the craziness that's going on in the world. So yeah, you're welcome at the open mic. We welcome all nationalities, Russian, Chinese, Japanese. We don't care where you're from, as long as you want to kick back and have a good time. You're welcome here. We appreciate you coming down, man.
Thank you so much
You're getting like a pre-screening. We're not even open yet.
Thank you for inviting me out here.
You're welcome.
So maybe I got to come back maybe next month or something like that.
I think...
come back and check it out.
Well, as soon as we announce the first night, it'll be a Friday night grand opening, and you will certainly be invited to the grand opening. But if you can't make that, come back another time. And
definitely let me know when the opening is going to be. I'll try to be there.
I think it's going to be a big night.
Okay.
First opening. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Yep. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and definitely check out Teacher Thomas Thailand's channel. He has a lot of really good videos on there. And if you do come out to Rayong, Pala Beach area, come and check him out at his restaurant out here and bar. And I think it's going to be a good time. It's really nice. I'll make sure to have some bonus footage at the end of this video of his place. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.
But there's a lot of nice little resorts right there in Baht, which is the pier town, right? So a lot of people like
Oh, when you go to the island, right?
Yeah, because sometimes the ATMs are far and few between.
Then I'll just have this